Sam Darnold, a man who at one point was seeing ghosts, has made a complete and utter resurgence in the NFL. Now, this all started last season with the Minnesota Vikings, but it's continued and has even looked better with the Seattle Seahawks. And it's not the old saying of, well, he's got his number one wide receiver bailing him out. No, he's making his number one wide receiver look better than he is. And that's saying something. Then you also look at the fact that he's spreading the ball out around and will even get the ball to A.J. Barner, a guy that most people forget about every single game until he catches a good pass from Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold's resurgence is something that we should discuss about here today because it's truly an amazing story and someone I'm very happy to see have the resurgence. Now, to start out, we have to go all the way back to high school with Sam Darnold. Now, Sam Darnold's a very interesting case. He didn't even play football his freshman year. He played it starting his sophomore year, as well as basketball. And he was so good at basketball, there was a quote from Greg Popovich that said he would have played in the Pac-12 conference for college basketball or the Mountain West Conference at worst. He was very Wes Unseld-like, which is high praise from Popovich. But he decided to play football, and he was pretty good at it. He moved to quarterback after first starting out playing wide receiver and linebacker. First, USC defensive coordinator Justin Wilcox recruited him as a linebacker, something that we can all kind of laugh at looking back at today. But Sam Darnold went to USC as a quarterback. He was very highly recruited, even becoming a 4-star quarterback recruit and a highly rated dual threat recruit at that. At USC, he would be phenomenal, winning the last USC conference championship since Pete Carroll was last the coach there, and they haven't gone back to win the conference championship since Sam Darnold has left there. There has been one conference championship since Pete Carroll left for the Seahawks. That was won by Sam Darnold. Ironic considering where Sam Darnold is playing at now. Sam Darnold posted a 20-4 record at USC, starting in 24 games and playing in 13. The only reason he didn't play in more games was simply because USC didn't want their starting quarterback at the time to transfer out if a young redshirt freshman was named the starting quarterback like Sam Darnold. During his 2 years of gameplay, he had over 7,000 passing yards, 57 touchdowns, and 22 interceptions. He was very good at getting the ball to the open receiver, which is something that really surprised everyone in the early parts of his NFL career. In fact, let's talk about that now. Sam Darnold was so stellar in college, he was selected at the 3rd overall pick in 2018, being drafted over guys like Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, which maybe looking back at today wasn't the best move, but at the time, it was thought of to be the right move. In fact, he was thought of to probably be the 1st overall pick over Baker Mayfield at the time. That's how highly thought of Sam Darnold was at the time. And his tenure at New York did not go so well. His career high in passing yards was barely over 3,000 yards. His career high in touchdowns was 19. In fact, in his final year at the Jets, he threw more interceptions than he did touchdowns. It was a struggle from the start of his tenure to the end of it. A lot of that had to do with offensive line, a lot of that had to do with coaching, a lot of that had to do with just everything in general, including him contracting mono, which is not something you typically see for an NFL starting quarterback. But stuff happened in New York. It did not go the best. He was seeing ghosts when the Patriots played him in that notable Monday Night Football clip of him saying out loud with the sound effects, "I'm seeing ghosts out there." In fact, here's the clip of him saying he saw ghosts.
Seeing ghosts.
That's the issues the Jets offense had on him. The offense in general was so bad and pathetic that it was going to ruin a star-studded franchise quarterback prospect before he really even got the chance to show what he was capable of. The Jets traded Sam Darnold to the Carolina Panthers in the 2021 offseason. The Carolina Panthers had some hope. Matt Rule was there. Things were going to be different. Sam Darnold coming in to a more stable organization. It was going to be better. Well, it wasn't necessarily better, but it had some hope in the beginning. As Sam Darnold started out 3-0 and looked really good. He looked like a game manager. But unfortunately, injuries happened. Christian McCaffrey only played 7 games that year, and he was the best weapon. Then you look at everything else. The offensive line wasn't good. The receiving talent wasn't good. And Sam Darnold didn't even play every single game that year. His games weren't that good either after the hot start. He threw more interceptions than touchdowns again and looked like he was hopeless as an NFL prospect. It seemed like everything that happened to the Jets was permanent. There was no one doing it. But then 2022 happened. Now, in the 2022 offseason, the Carolina Panthers made a trade. They brought in Baker Mayfield to be the starting quarterback, and Baker Mayfield was starting quarterback for a good while until he got cut by the Panthers. And who happened to be the quarterback after Baker left? Well, that'd be Sam Darnold. During that tenure, Sam Darnold went 4-2 and threw 7 touchdowns and 3 interceptions and threw for over 1,000 yards. There was progress there. Sam Darnold was actually being able to show what he could do. And the Panthers nearly won the division that year. But they decided to do a complete team reset and brought in a new head coach and new quarterbacks. So Sam Darnold would then end up the San Francisco 49ers. At that place, he met a very crucial guy for his growth and development as a quarterback, Clint Kubiak, who comes into play later on. But Sam Darnold needed a reset. He needed to go somewhere where he could completely just play football, not have to worry about saving an organization, not having to worry about all the pressure of the world on his shoulders. And that's what he got at San Francisco. He was a backup, yes, but he had good coaching. He had good development. He had something he hasn't had since probably USC, and that is a big thing for any quarterback's growth and development. Something I haven't talked about is Sam Darnold, even at the moment, is still extremely young. He's only 28 years old, and he was drafted in 2018. He wasn't even 21 when he was drafted. He was 20. So Sam Darnold was still extremely young and knew he could go take that year to reset in San Francisco to better himself. And it very much did, as we saw with the Minnesota Vikings, which we finally saw the quarterback we were promised coming out of USC. The talented quarterback that had the gunslinger mentality and confidence to go all over the field. He threw for over 4,000 yards. He had 35 touchdowns. He had 12 interceptions. He had such a better touchdown-interception ratio than he had his entire career. It's insane. He had 7.9 yards per attempt. He was slinging it all over the field. And that's when we truly saw, hey, there's something still in there. Now, the Jets and Panthers maybe tried to ruin him. They did their best at it, don't get me wrong. But there was still that quarterback at USC in there, that gunslinger that could go all over the field. And when he had confidence, he was looking really good in the Minnesota Vikings, and he led them to a 14-3 record. Now, I know a lot of people will point out, hey, he lost the last 2 games of the year. He got sacked a lot against the Lions and Rams. Yes, the Minnesota Vikings offensive line sucked those games. That's not all entirely on Darnold. When you look at those games, the Vikings offensive line did him no favors. Sam Darnold can only do so much. And that was an offensive line that was without their starting left tackle in Christian Darrisaw. Cam Robinson was their starting tackle at that moment. And if you've listened to this channel before, you know my opinion on him is not too high as a football player. But Sam Darnold looked good. He looked resurgent. And it was to the point that I was thinking, the Vikings can't move off him. They can't go with J.J. McCarthy. They have to keep Sam Darnold because if J.J. McCarthy's not this, it's a massive failure on the Vikings' part. And then the Vikings let him walk out the door and join the Seattle Seahawks. Now, this is where Clint Kubiak comes into play majorly because it's not a guarantee Sam Darnold would have gone to the Seattle Seahawks. There were other options. I know Pittsburgh at one point was very interested in him, but ultimately, he went to the system he knows. He went to the coach he knows, and that's in Seattle. And it looks really good so far as he's already built a great bond with JSN and has JSN looking like one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. I don't necessarily think it's one guy making the other look amazing. I think they're both helping each other out. Sam Darnold is getting the ball to JSN phenomenally well. He's getting it to him downfield, and JSN is just showcasing his natural ability. These two are helping each other look better. It's not one or the other. Then you look at how Sam Darnold is just playing in general. Torrey Horton, the young rookie, is looking phenomenal with Sam Darnold throwing the football. Sam Darnold's been getting the ball to veteran Cooper Kupp. Sam Darnold has been getting the ball to A.J. Barner. The list goes on and on because Sam Darnold's been spraying the ball all over the field, which is something you very much want to see at a quarterback like Sam Darnold. He's not necessarily the guy that has to zone in on one target. His arm is talented enough that he can get the ball all over the field to anybody he wants. And that's something we are seeing every single game. It's showing on the stat sheet. Sam Darnold already through the first 6 games of the season has passed for over 1,500 yards, has an average attempt of 9.6 yards downfield, has 11 touchdowns to 3 interceptions, and oh yeah, they're 4-2. The Seahawks look really good. They look better than when they had Geno Smith. And that's not something I necessarily thought would happen because I was a big Geno Smith guy. I thought, what are the Seahawks doing bringing Sam Darnold? And mind you, I've always been a big Sam Darnold guy. My dad will tell you, who is a diehard Seahawks fan, I would not shut up about Sam Darnold when he's come out of USC. But I was still having my reservation about him because I wondered how much this was Kevin O'Connell. And now seeing with the Seahawks, I don't think it's entirely fair to say, oh, this is all Kevin O'Connell. I think this is a lot of Sam Darnold because he fixed himself. He knew where he had to go. He went to the San Francisco 49ers to get better, to take some time off and really get back to football. He left the bad organizations behind in the Jets and Panthers. He focused on winning cultures. He went to San Francisco, a team that's won recently. He went to Minnesota, a team that's won recently. He went to Seattle, a team that's won recently. He has figured out where he needs to be at the right moment, at the right time to be the best quarterback he possibly can be. And it's shown on the football field to the point Sam Darnold looks like the guy we were promised at USC. Very few quarterbacks had the resurgence late in their career. And to be fair, Sam Darnold's not even 30 yet. It's not necessarily late in his career. He's still young enough that he can be the quarterback for the Seahawks for the next 10 years, which is not something you typically see at a guy who was drafted 7 years ago playing for your team. But the Seahawks found something in Sam Darnold, and he looks amazing. He looks like the guy that can maybe bring the Seahawks back to the Super Bowl. It's not something that can be undersaid, because you look at the NFC. How many quarterbacks are better in the NFC than Sam Darnold? I know a lot of people are going to say Jalen Hurts. I would disagree. And I know some people will say Baker Mayfield. I disagree. I think Sam Darnold's a better talent than Baker Mayfield, and I think he's going to get more comfortable in Seattle like Baker's comfortable in Tampa. In my opinion, within the next 2 years, the Seattle Seahawks will be contending for a Super Bowl championship appearance, maybe even win one. But with how we look at Sam Darnold right now, he's very much capable of taking the Seahawks to the Super Bowl and possibly winning some awards along the way. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked it, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. If you'd share this, I'd greatly appreciate it. I'm trying to hit 350 subscribers by Thanksgiving. I'd appreciate if you hit that subscribe button and help me get there. I'm very much excited to talk about Sam Darnold this year. He was one of the stories I was keeping an eye on because, well, I've always been a big Sam Darnold guy. I was big on him coming out of USC, and I thought he would change the Jets, but he didn't. And then I thought he would change the Panthers. Then he didn't. Then I was like, I can't keep getting bit like this. I'm getting bit in the hand over and over again. And then he shows what he showed in Minnesota. I was like, let's be a little patient here. Don't buy into it. Then I'm watching him in Seattle, and I'm seeing the Sam Darnold I was promised coming out of USC, and I'm so excited. So I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you have anything you want to say in the comment section, whether you agree with me, disagree with me, go down below. I love reading the comments. I love seeing what everyone says about this video. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you all had a great day, and I hope you all enjoy watching the resurgence of Sam Darnold.